let's define the term vibe coding, because it might seem like a silly term, like, hey, the vibes are cool, but this is a tidal wave that's sweeping the coding world, and it's going to be one of the most important terms in developing businesses, startups, for the foreseeable future. So where does this funny term come from? It comes from Andrej Karpathy. He is a thought leader in the AI space. He used to work for OpenAI, which created ChatGPT. And he tweeted something early on that read something like, it's where you can give into the vibes, embrace exponentials, and forget that code even exists, which really sounds pretty confusing. This is a smaller part of a larger quote, but think about it. Give into the vibes of what you want to make. Forget code exists and forget that limitations exist. Because if you were traditionally programming and you were told, hey, make this feature, you would have a headache, because you'd be like, well, to make this feature, I have to learn this library and this library and this API, and it's going to take me a couple of days to figure it out. I have to read a bunch of incredibly, horrifically boring documentation, which is a snooze fest. I'm going to take a million breaks, overeat on snacks, because it's just going to be so boring and it's going to be miserable and stressful for the next 2 days. I'll get it. I'll make it. But that's my life for the next 2 days if I have to create a totally new feature. And of course, those vibes are not so good. Or as my daughter would say, yucky. But the amazing thing about being an engineer is that you could make anything. And so here, we are going to make AI create everything for us, so we only have to worry about what we can dream up. Because vibe coding is actually the opposite of coding. It's not coding at all. It's the engineer, instead of coding, now they're just telling AI in natural language, in my case English, what code and features to create. Like, hey, make me a website, make me an app, make me whatever I want. And very importantly, this gives you the ability to prototype just about anything. Not a fully completed product, but prototype in 1 hour and begin getting feedback on it. Begin showing it to potential clients, your boss. That's unprecedented. If you wanted to launch a website before, sure, if you're fast, you can do WordPress, but you could not make a mobile app. You could not make other original software. It would take you days and days. And the revolution here is manifold, because yes, it's way faster, meaning it's affordable and more efficient, but it democratizes web development because there's no longer a need to hire web developers or learning to code. No offense to web developers, I used to be a software engineer myself, but the revolution here is that any of the 7 billion people in the world now can create businesses and products without big hurdles. And generally speaking, the way vibe coding works is you have a browser-based development environment where you can tell it what to do, and it actually makes it easier to collaborate if you have a team. It also removes complex configurations that used to be there in software engineering environments. That was another huge headache. I used to hate that so much. Like something wouldn't work and you would be like, why is it not working? And it's like some syntax error or somewhere in the configuration, and it would take you like half a day to figure out what it was, and just terrible experience that you no longer have to deal with. And of course, there's a lot more to say about vibe coding. Because it's AI, it's getting infinitely more complex and sophisticated day by day. But because this term is going to be thrown around all the time from now on, it's going to just balloon in how much it gets thrown around. It was incredibly important to define what it is and set the context so that you will understand whenever it comes up.